Hi, this is Ryan Lochte, and I am the man of the hour talking to you about my past and my future, and one, of course, family.
Ryan Lochte, thank you for saying yes, man. I would read all your accolades. I probably did that at the top of this podcast, but for saying yes to me and to this entire
Mhm.
Men of the Hour community, I want to say thank you. Let's start things off with the fact that you're one of the most decorated Olympic swimmers in history. We know
Uh,
that. Well, listen, and he said, we know and love that about you, man. But I know, along with so many other people, we're really curious to know why you're still in the game now after having been so decorated and successful, and over all the years, if you think about it.
I love swimming. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, I'm just, I'm obsessed with the sport of swimming. Um, and after 2012 Olympics, after I had such a great career since 2012, my I fell out of the love of the sport. Like I wasn't having fun. I was going to the swimming pool because I felt like it was a job
Mm,
and I wasn't having fun. I lost that passion, that love. Um, so I was just going to, just get a paycheck to swim. It wasn't for me. It, it was for me, but you know what I mean? Like I
mm,
lost that feeling. So I didn't get it back until like my kids were born, is when I started going to the pool and finding it to be fun again. I was
mm.
finding different ways, like when I was a little kid. I'm like going swimming again was fun, and I was loving it. Even though I was getting older, um, maybe you could say I was getting slower,
Mm-hmm. I
but
get it.
I was enjoying it. I was loving what I was doing. And I mean, I owe it kind of basically all to my family.
Mm. I love that, man. You're the reason we can call this a feel good podcast. You brought up something very special that I think a lot of people can relate to, and
Mhm.
it's this idea of burnout, right?
Yeah,
After 2012, you're like, damn, I did it. I think I'm done. And then you have
yeah.
kids. For those of us who don't have kids, I don't know if I can even ask this question in this way, but if you think about it, you might have had to do some soul searching. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
After that Olympic game process. And so when you had to do that before the kids even came into this world, which we love, and we're going to talk about here in just a bit, and they might jump to these, and they might barge into the
They
room.
might bust. They're like, "Where's Daddy? I gotta find him."
But Ryan, give us a better understanding about what kind of soul searching process you might have gone through to then find the love for it again, right? Because it's a sport. It's not.
Yeah.
It is your life, but ultimately, it's something that you spent most of your life
So
doing.
I was training at Gainesville, Florida, at the University of Florida, and all the way up until 2013. And then I was starting, like when I was saying it, that's when like my love and passion started falling apart for the sport. I was going to the swimming pool because I thought it was a job. Um, and I wasn't having fun any doing it. So I thought to myself, I was like, man, maybe it's the place. Maybe I'm a big fish in a small pond type, and I need to relocate. I need to go somewhere else. Um, so I picked up and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was living the best life I could. I was partying like nonstop. I was still training, but like my my like drive and determination and commitment to the sport kind of dwindled. And I was just, making friends, being the life of the party. I was doing that all the way up until 2016. And then, well, I don't want to get into it. We all know what happened with me in 2016 Rio Games. And then, like, that's when I hit rock bottom. I was the lowest of the low. No money. All of my sponsors left me. And luckily, I had, well, she's my wife now, but she was my girlfriend at the time. Um, just kind of being there to be like the backbone, being like to motivate me, being like, don't fall apart. You got to keep moving forward. You got to keep fighting.
Mm,
I know who you are deep down inside. This is not who you are. Don't let them tell you. Like, you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep fighting. So, we did. And then a year after 2016, we find out that she's pregnant. And we are like, yeah, it was everything changed. My whole entire life changed. My love and passion for the sport of swimming. I was like, you know what? Let's do this again. Let's give it another shot for the Olympics. And that's when my love and passion started happening again for the pool, because I was just I think I was just in a better mindset. I was just happy
Mm.
all around. Like nothing could phase me. I was just the happiest person in the world, just because like I had a family now. Like that was what I was brought to this earth for, to be a badass dad
And
and
husband.
husband. Yes, and husband. And so swimming was in the past, swimming was just me. It was just me and swimming. I didn't have to care for anything. Like I could just party all night, go to the swimming pool, show up. Had no one. I didn't have to like worry about taking care of anyone else. And then it all changed. And now swimming is just, the gold medal that's in swimming, everything like that's the cherry on top. The main thing is me and my family. And that is the
Mhm.
most important thing. And that is why I'm the happiest person ever. Even though I missed Olympics this go around, and it was still hard, and I'm still trying to get over that
Mm.
just mentally. But every day I'm waking up with a smile on my face, and I'm just like, man, what's in store for me today with the family? Like it's just amazing. Um, and I couldn't be happier.
Damn, we're like 8 minutes into this thing, and I'm like, if you guys are watching this, I will run the clip on social too. But you can see how happy he is. How many people, Ryan, say that they're happy and they're really not. And the reason I say that's because you're genuinely in such a good place in your life, and that's a great thing. I want to bring up this idea of the best of both worlds now that you bring up family
Mm-hmm.
and swimming, and it seems as though swimming's a bit supplemental because you mentioned it being the cherry on top of on this happy life now, and that's such a beautiful place to be. And I think that a lot of us are looking for that. Everybody wants the best of both worlds with personal and professional life. It's part of the reason we launched this show. It's,
Yeah.
it's so therapeutic to even hear that coming from you. Anybody listening right now, I'm sure you're dealing with it too. Um, but give us a tidbit of how you can wake up so happy and know that you have it. You have the family, and again, you're going to continue the swimming, and we're going to get into everything else that you're doing, with your spokesmanship.
Mhm.
And also, I know you were out doing some stuff in East Texas as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, just think of waking up happy and how that really changes each day.
It was hard, especially after Olympic trials. Um, After Olympic trials, when I didn't make the team, honestly, this is probably the third person I've ever said this to. Um, I was waking up every day, walking to the bathroom, looking myself in the mirror, and just being like, I'm a failure. I'm a failure because I feel like I let down everyone. You know, even at Olympic, like for instance, like at Olympic trials, like there was like the janitor even said, "Hey, do it for the old guys," and like little things like that. I was like, man, I got to do it for them. I got to do it for my family, especially. I got to do it for my parents. I got to do it for my friends. I got to do it for my fans. I got to do it for everyone. And I fell short. And every day I was waking up, going to the mirror, looking at myself, and being like, I'm a failure. And it was the hardest thing to move forward mentally. But like I said, I turned to my family. After looking myself in the mirror, I have someone, a little runt, hitting me on my knee, being like, Dad, let's go play. Immediately snapped out of it, big smile on my face, and be like, you know what? Swimming doesn't define who I am. There's so much more to me than swimming. Swimming is
Mm,
just a sport that I love to do. And I can't let that get in the way of who I am and what I want to become.
mm,
So I immediately, it was like kind of one day thing where I was saying I'm a failure in the mirror, and then having my son hit me, being like, Dad, let's go play. And I'm like, you're you're right, son.
mm,
Like you're right. I need to snap out of this shit. So, excuse my French. I need to snap out of it and move forward. Like I can't dwell on it.
mm.
Um, and I did. And now every time I wake up, I don't have to go to the mirror anymore. Besides brushing my teeth.
Right.
I wake up and I'm like, let's go, guys. What do we
Yeah.
got today? And that's how I am now. I'm just walking around with a big old smile. I mean, there's certain things that's frustrating
Mm.
when the kids don't listen to you or anything like that. But hey, that's life, and we're a family, and we get through it.
That's so good to hear. I mean, now, and that's something we all care about, and that's actually the second thing I had written down here, and I didn't even know if we would get to it.
Mhm.
But you said it's swimming is not who you are, but it's for so long who people thought you were, right?
Yep.
In the tabloids, in the media, on anything that you stand stage or put your foot on, put your pulse on, whatever it might be. It's always Ryan Lochte, the Olympic swimmer. And I said
Yep.
this at the top of this conversation. You're one of the most decorated, if not the, standing next to Michael Phelps and such, right? And I've never followed sports. It's why I love talking to you now. Like I had to research a lot of what you'd been through with your career because I wanted to get to know this Ryan, which you're giving us now, which is fantastic. But then it goes in what I was going to ask you, which is, even like completely strip away that Olympic swimmer with us for a second and
Yeah.
go back to the moment where you had just said, that's not who you are, right? There's so much more to Ryan Lochte. But if you could describe that Ryan Lochte to us, how would you do that?
I mean, I guess a loving, caring, humble person. I care about everyone. And if I had one wish, it'd be to make sure everyone is just happy. Especially now, because social media, everything, it's just so much negativity on the
Mm,
TV, everything. I'm like, I just want to try to bring a smile to one person's face every day. I mean, I could do that with my family. That's easy.
mm,
Like for instance, I picked up my kids from school today, and I thought it was one of our friends coming into the parking lot, and I like stopped my car. I was waving frantically, being like, "Hey, hey!" Completely different person. Had no idea who it was. I thought it was my other friend, and I was
mhm,
like, you know what? You have a fantastic day. And like immediately, that person had the biggest smile on their face. They're like, "Oh, see, I'm gonna make an impact on that person's life today,"
mm,
and that's what I want to do. I care a lot about people, and I just want to live the best life I can.
mhm. That's where it starts. I think you telling us that and then telling yourself that. And you said a second ago, I'm the third person you had told that to, that you had went into the mirror and told yourself that you were a failure.
Mhm.
W- Deep down, when you thought about maybe opening up to anybody else, who were those other two people? And then what got you to finally kind of snap out of it, as you'd said, especially when talking to your
It
kid?
was my wife, and my dad.
Mm,
And honestly, it happened like within a week ago where it
mm,
stopped. So I was really going through some depression and just me thinking I'm a failure
mm,
because I feel like I let down so many people, but I can't think like that because it
mm,
will ruin me. It will ruin how I go on my day-to-day basis. Like I wasn't doing anything when I was thinking like that. I was
mm,
moping around. I was just like I didn't want to see friends. I didn't really want to hang out. I didn't even want to go outside and play. Like I just because I didn't feel it inside. But um I'm over that. And so that's why I can tell you, even though I don't know you, like I can tell you because
yeah.
I can let that go now.
Oh, yeah.
Move
It's a good
on.
place to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Move on and be happy. Find ways to be happy.
Be
Something else,
happy. Yeah.
right? Something else I know you've been spending a lot of time doing is giving back, and I think it takes one to be in a
Yeah.
happy, comfortable, somewhat of a stable place mentally to be able to do that. Take the
Yeah.
East Texas initiative you guys did for, and I just saw this on your Instagram right before we hit
Mhm.
the record button. But I was like, oh my god, there's this story pop up, and I see you giving a lot now.
Yeah.
And I want to get into some other stuff that has to do with Pure Niagen here in just a second. But
Yeah.
tell us like how that also plays into your happiness, right? Giving back to other people, helping other communities, and in what ways are you doing that right now?
And honestly, I'm doing it in any way I can. After so I went to Texas for one of my sponsors, Eubank, because I'm trying to get into the financial world because everything that's happened with me in my past, like I had nothing, I had no idea about financial literacy, like, and still don't. So I'm learning.
Mm,
So I went to Texas with Eubank, and they were having like a Olympic theme with all the employees. So I got to know all the employees, got to hang out, tell them a little bit about my story, and just learn some more about finances. And they were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Oh, we went to a school. We went to school where I got to talk to kids,
hmm
which I love kids, obviously." So I got to talk to them, tell them a little about my story and like things that they can work on throughout their
Mm.
lives to help them. And we went to the Texas food bank, and we were packaging meals for hungry children. And I think we made like, I think we almost set a record on the time that we were there because we had a limited time. And I think we set the record. I was like, oh, we're gonna make as many meals as possible, guys. So I think we set the record or something, is what they were saying there. So it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
I love that. And then you learn while doing that too. I think when you can knock that many birds out with one stone, it's always going to be a good experience.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned financial literacy, and then I want to get to your kids. Um, I think that with sports, not many of us can understand this, but with athletes in the sports world, entertainers in the entertainment business, uh, I've heard it many times. I mean, we're far into like 70 episodes on this thing, and majority of the guys are always entertainers to some degree. And it always comes up that they didn't handle their finances correctly. They didn't know how to
Yep.
do so. Do you think there's a common thread there? And what would you think is the biggest issue when someone that gets as big and high profile like yourself goes through their career?
Because no one never teaches us. They don't teach us how to money management. You're an athlete, like you're living the high fame, like, and you have all, once you like get a certain status, like going to shows, red carpet events,
Mm,
like you, all these sponsors, you have all this money coming in, like you going out and people recognizing you, and like you're the life of the party, like you get absorbed into that lifestyle, and you tend to lose yourself, and you tend to lose the real purpose, and then you don't follow. You're like, oh well, I got money coming in, like I don't have to worry about that. Well, we'll pay someone to worry about that. And that's what happened with me. I was paying someone to worry about it. What they weren't telling me, if I bought a new car, Brian, you have two cars already, why the hell do you need a third one? Why do you need a fourth one? Why do you need a fifth one? Like, don't be dumb, like come on.
mm.
I had no one doing that, no one telling me, um writing checks, like balancing checkbooks, like anything like that. I had nothing, had no idea. I couldn't even, I, in the past, I couldn't even tell you how much money I had in my bank account
Mm,
because I didn't even look it up. Never had to.
mhm.
So, I mean, it was a rude awakening, especially when you had a family. When you start having kids and everything, it's, you start like being like, wow, like,
Mm.
man, if I saw myself 10 years ago, I'd knock his ass out and be like, hey, wake up and smell the roses.
At least you're waking up happy smelling the roses 10 years
Yeah,
later
well,
now,
at
man.
least I am, but yes, but it's harder now.
Yeah.
Because, but that's the way life is. I mean, definitely a firm believer of everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
And it was God's way of saying, like, you needed to go through all this in order to become the person you are now and be how happy you are right now. So no regrets.
Get that tatted on your chest. You remember that movie? I forget.
Oh
It was
yes,
with
where it
John.
says yes. Yeah. Oh,
No
what movie
regrets.
was
I'll
that?
never forget. It's the Meet the Millers or something,
Yes.
right? Jennifer Aniston, I think, and
Yeah.
John Krasinski. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yes.
dude. More on family before we wrap up. So when you think about your kids right now and the children that
Yeah.
you're raising, right? Kids and children, they're the same thing. What the hell am I talking about? So in today's world, especially, right? You mentioned earlier, social media is becoming a thing. It leads to a lot of negativity. We know all the major life events that are happening right now. It's like
Yeah.
kind of chaotic. And granted, you're in Gainesville, which is a little quieter than the Los Angeles and the New York
Yes.
City, right? So you have
Very
kind of
quiet.
a right, very quiet, quiet enough, right? The kids haven't barged through the door behind you yet. But
Yes.
what do you want to make sure that they grow up learning and understanding or knowing, especially in today's world? What's that big thing for you?
I'm definitely going to teach them what happened in my past.
Mm,
I think it's very important that they know and understand that, because they'll learn from it. They'll learn that, like, in life, you're going to get knocked down, but it's how you get up and keep moving forward that's going to define you as a person and build your character. So I definitely want to teach them what happened,
mm-hmm,
and like, teach them the things that I didn't get to like financial literacy, being kind to others, treat people the way you want to be treated, opening up doors for people, like just being just an all around good person.
Hmm.
I definitely want to teach them that, teach them manners, everything.
Yeah. And I try to very much not to be opinionated on this thing, but I would almost say, in my opinion, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, it's your life. But if you hadn't gone through those things, right? Should you not had, went through going through your bank account, buying 5 cars, etc., or
Yeah.
having this like depression state before the kids had come, like I think those things are allowing us to live life as a journey. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like
Yep.
you now have a better understanding what life should be for your kids. And like you said at the top of this conversation, that's what you feel like that's your purpose. You were meant to be a badass dad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're 110% right. Like I said, I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason. It was God putting all these things that happen, big events that happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
to make me to who I am and to help the younger generation, to help my family, to help my kids become the best they can be. And that's what we're here. I got to help
Mm-hmm.
the younger generation.
We love this, Ryan Lochte. You know what? So I think when people think about athletes, and we're getting close to the end here, my friends, but stay with us because these questions are good. But I wonder, as especially I'm not an athlete, right? But all of us non-athletes latch on to superstars like you because I know that you guys have a lot of depth to why you've built such extraordinary careers.
Yeah.
But give us one major life lesson. I know you've kind of given anecdotes throughout this past conversation, but
Mhm.
what's one thing throughout the entirety of your swimming career that you were like, this is a non-negotiable, this is why I'm swimming, this is why I'm successful?
It was fun.
Mm,
I mean, that's all. Like I have a saying, like a three like guidelines you want to say like that I followed throughout my entire life to get me to where I'm at right now is one, listen to your coach. And that could be in school, listen to your teacher. On finances, listen to your accountant,
mm-hmm,
because they're there to help you. Um, two, make sure you set short-term and long-term goals. Um, whatever those goals may be, and then you always have those long-term goals that like a big mansion with 2 cars, a butler, like so you have something, a purpose every day waking up. You want to strive to become the best.
mm-hmm.
And the third one I always say is to have fun, because life is too short and you never know when it's going to end, and you just got to live life to the fullest and enjoy this journey because it's freaking amazing.
It's so freaking amazing, dude.
So freaking amazing. I love it.
Oh, just dude, I wish we were in a studio. You know what? So the your latest endeavor, I want to talk about this. We're not getting paid to talk about this, people. We just want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
you became a spokesperson. That's a pretty big thing to sign up for.
Yeah.
And aside from being like a big super cool daddy-o, right, and a husband at home, to be a spokesperson for True Niagen, right? And
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
product that increases the NAD plus levels in your body, which essentially
Yep.
allows you to live a healthier, longer life. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's
Yep.
kind of what I got from it. So,
Yep.
what allowed you to sign up for
So,
that?
so True Niagen is a unique form of vitamin B3 that supports healthy aging and cellular repair. And so when I was in my training, I was getting older and I was like, I have to start thinking outside the box. Like
Yeah.
what? Because being training at the toppest level ever in sports and then going home and trying to become super dad all day playing, because like they just, when daddy's home, it's daddy playtime. And then going to afternoon practice and training at the highest level, I was getting drained. My body was getting drained. My muscles, they weren't repairing as fast. So like I was like, I have to start thinking outside the box. Like what
Mm,
can help me? And then I came across True Niagen, and I started taking it. I started finding my like cellular energy was just like, I almost want to say like inhuman. Like
mm,
I was going to the pool after afternoon practice being a long day and
yeah.
keeping up with these younger kids, and they're like, they call me Big Daddy. They're like, Big Daddy, like how are you even keeping up with us? Like you're old.
So I'm
I'm like,
Superman.
Yes, I'm Superman, but I'm not going to tell you my secret.
Yeah.
But I immediately, when I started taking, I started noticing my energy levels just increasing. My cellular energy level was just amazing. And I was keeping up, and my body was starting to repair. My muscles started to repair quicker. Um, so I was like, I had to start thinking outside the box.
Mm,
So I mean, it was just amazing how much it did help.
yeah. And then tell them, say, you won't know the secret till you get as old as I am, kids. Right?
Yep.
I
No, they
get it.
won't. They
Well, it's
won't.
like you want to, yeah, you want to live a sustainable life, which I think is incredible.
Yes.
Dude, I hate getting to this part because it means the conversation's about to wrap up. I have one more question
Yeah.
for you. So we're in the fourth quarter of the year, what I call season 5 of the Men of the Hour podcast, and I just want to know your thoughts on the last 3 months that we have in this crazy ass 2021. What do you want to make of it? What keeps you excited about it? I mean, you've mentioned it's going to be your fam, right? But and actually, if it's your family, say it's your family. But what are you excited for the like the last little run of this 2021 year?
Um, to be honest, like my family, because me and my wife, we've talked about trying to have another kid.
Number
So, I
3.
mean, yeah,
Lucky number
number
3.
3. So we might in 2022, we might have a child. Like we're like we've
You
talked
heard it
about it.
here
We
first,
really want
everybody.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Whoa.
this is very exciting. I'm like starting to get goosebumps just thinking about having another kid. It's gonna be awesome.
You love your freaking kids and they love you,
Dude, I'm
dude.
obsessed with them.
Because you're
Like,
like a Superman to them. How fun is that?
yeah, I know. And it's so cool. And like they see me swim and they're like, they like get so giddy and they're like, go, dad, go. And they understand like me swimming and like my passion. And like it family's freaking awesome.
It is freaking awesome, dude. I'm
Yeah.
so happy for you, man. I didn't know this
Thank you.
conversation would have done what it did. So if you're tuning in right now, thank you for hanging out with us for just a short amount of time. Ryan Lochte, like we had said, is more than just the Olympic swimmer. I think you're a fantastic dad. It sounds like you're so happy and grounded
Yeah.
where you are. So I hope it stays like this for you, my friend.
Oh, I
And
will.
I'll have to tell Jonathan Bennett. He was our first guest. He was my very first guest on this show. I'll
Oh
have to
yeah.
text him this
Awesome.
podcast episode right now. I know you guys are buddies. So thanks for trusting me with this conversation, dude. I thought this was
Yes, of
excellent.
course. Yes. Thank you for having me.